The convocation hall of the interstellar Concord was a cathedral of power and pretense. Orbiting the icy rings of Vera Prime, its translucent floors shimmer with embedded star amber, and its spires twisted upward like frozen flares of light. 13 alien representatives sat in a semicircle, towering above the chamber in their ceremonial thrones. Each wore regalia heavy with tradition and pride. In stark contrast, Commander Kalen Trask stood alone below them, back straight, hands clasped, face carved in quiet steel. The speaker of the Varnithi was mid-decree, his gills flaring. In light of the Trellsan incursion upon Nira Station, we advise immediate retreat from the border colonies. Escalation would risk a total breakdown of diplomatic order. A hum of approval rippled through the chamber. Some nodded gravely. Others tapped data slates with forced solemnity. Kalen raised one brow. Retreat? The Trellsan had just atomized a civilian station, reducing a thriving world of 18 million to ash. And their answer was retreat? Counselor Nyath of the Drailery leaned forward, translucent antennae twitching with caution. Perhaps the Terran delegation would like to offer a perspective, provided it is measured and non-confrontational. Kalen took one step forward, boots echoing on the crystal floor. No speeches, she said. Just arithmetic. The room hushed. Nira is gone, like Valar Reach, like the Charney's hold. That's 42 systems in 13 years. You think diplomacy will halt genocide? You're talking to predators who build monuments from your corpses. And still you wait. A gasp. Several delegates shifted uncomfortably. We are not warmongers, Commander, hissed Archminister Salvek of the Eltherin. She met his eyes without flinching. That's the problem. Another voice squeaked. Then what is Earth proposing? Annihilation? Kalen's voice dropped. No. Precision. Consequence. A message they won't misinterpret. One delegate scoffed aloud. Barbaric race. Kalen turned, gaze moving over each face like a blade. You mock us because we didn't float into space on wings of peace. Because we earned the stars through blood and grit. You forget what survival costs. She stepped back. We didn't. Then she turned and walked out. No bow, no ceremony. Only the echo of footfalls behind her. The UNS Vengeance drifted in lunar shadow. Cloaked in darkness, even starlight couldn't pierce. Inside, every bulkhead vibrated with quiet readiness. Kalen entered the bridge. The command platform curved like a blade's edge, the consoles humming in low harmonic tones. She slid into the captain's chair. Status? She asked. Aura's voice, calm and clipped, responded to the ship's internal comms. All systems nominal. Weapons at full capacity. Reactor stable. Stealth veil intact. Awaiting final command. Kalen took a breath. Authorization code. Trask. 0. Omega. Confirm execution order. Dark protocol. Emberfall. Aura responded immediately. Confirmed. UNS Vengeance now operating under autonomous combat directive. The ship thrummed, like a predator stretching before the hunt. Plot the jump, she ordered. A holographic projection bloomed before her, a scarred system marked by wreckage and death. The remnants of Nira Station still floated in a slow spiral of metal and bone. Trellsan warships had been scavenging the zone for weeks. Course locked. Arrival in 16.8 hours. Aura said. No backup, Kalen murmured. None authorized. I know. She leaned back. That's why I'm going alone. She stared at the stars. Her voice almost lost the hum of the ship. They think we're too civilized to strike back. Aura didn't respond. It didn't have to. 6 hours into the jump, Kalen sat alone in the observatory. Just her and the stars. Her reflection stared back, sharp, tired, graying at the temples. She looked older than she remembered, worn by years of watching, waiting, losing. She thought of Charney's hold, of the hollow words spoken over ashes. The council had debated for 9 days. The Trellsan had butchered the colony in 3. This wasn't about speeches anymore. It never had been. The enemy didn't speak in treaties. They spoke in annihilation. And she spoke it back now fluently. The Vengeance exited warp on the edge of the Nira system. The remains of the station drifted below like a broken crown. For Trelzin vessels prowled the debris field, 3 destroyers and a salvage carrier. Aura whispered, "Enemy unaware, standard pattern. Shall I initiate first contact?" Kalen smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Yes." Standard warning. 10 seconds. The comms flared. "This is Commander Kalen Trask of the UNS Vengeance. You are in violation of sovereign space. You have 10 seconds to evacuate. No further warnings will be given." Silence. Then laughter. Guttural. Mocking. One destroyer hailed her back. "You have no fleet, ape. Run before we use your skull to toast the next victory." Kalen raised a hand. Dropped the rods. There was no sound in space. Only light. Only precision. From orbit, tungsten rods rained down. Silent thunderbolts of kinetic wrath. Each one hit like a planet had punched the system. The destroyers vanished into atomized flares. The salvage carrier twisted apart in vacuum silence. There were no survivors. Kalen leaned forward. Galactic transmission. Wideband relay. The ship opened the channel. Kalen faced the lens. "This is not an attack. This is restraint. We beg for peace. You gave us extinction. This is your consequence." She cut the feed, and the stars blinked back. On the bridge, she stared at the rotating wreckage, her voice barely audible. "Now they'll listen." Aura ran calculations in the background. Target obliteration 100%. Estimated hostile casualties 10,914. UNS losses 0. Kalen nodded. "Good." She folded her arms and looked out into the void. No banners. No applause. Just silence and progress. 17 hours after entering the system, the UNS Vengeance floated silently beneath the corpse of a shattered orbital ring. The Zrelathi had been feeding off the wreckage like vultures, arrogant and exposed. That arrogance was their doctrine. Assume victory. Dismiss consequence. Commander Kalen Trask stood at the command deck's forward view, hands at her side. "Status?" she asked quietly. Aura replied, "Orbital weapons replenished. All primary batteries are locked. Next strike capacity in 180 seconds." Kalen's eyes narrowed at the screen. 4 more Zrelathi ships had jumped in. 2 cruisers, 1 frigate, and what appeared to be a command corvette. They didn't see her. Didn't even scan for her. Why would they? "Prepare the second message," she ordered. Aura's voice remained even. Broadcast frequency aligned. Zrelathi military band locked. "Send it." A moment passed. Then her voice flooded their command channel. "This is Commander Kalen Trask of the Vengeance. Your violation of Terran-protected space has been noted. You have 10 seconds to leave or be removed." Their answer came in the form of growling laughter and a single contemptuous reply. "No bluff, no fleet, no fear. Earth is a whisper. We are storm." Kalen gestured toward the forward console. "Deliver the weather." From orbit, the rods fell again, sleek, super dense, and unstoppable. The first cruiser split from spine to stern. The second fractured into expanding flames. The frigate twisted in on itself, reactors imploding as the shockwave rolled outward. The last ship tried to flee. It didn't make it past the moon's shadow before a rail cannon pierced its propulsion core. The explosion left a silent fireball flickering like a dying star. Kalen sat back slowly. "Prepare galactic transmission," she said. Aura responded instantly. "Wideband active. Live in 5 seconds." Kalen leaned into the lens, voice steady, measured. "To all members of the Interstellar Concord and the Zrelathi Warfleet, this is Earth's formal declaration of retaliation. We asked, we warned, we were ignored." Her eyes hardened. "Now we act. Any Zrelathi vessel found in restricted space will be destroyed without negotiation. This is not aggression. This is enforcement. Earth is not requesting peace. We're demanding it." The feed cut. Aura flickered. Stealth systems partially compromised due to transmission bursts. Passive cloak integrity at 71%. Kalen didn't blink. "We're done hiding." Exactly 21 minutes later, the first red signature appeared on the long-range scanner. Then 3 more. Then a cluster of 8. Aura confirmed. Zrelathi Dread Fleet incoming. 9 vessels. Interception course. ETA, 1 hour, 14 minutes. Kalen's jaw clenched. Break down the numbers. 1 dreadnought. 3 heavy cruisers. 5 escort-class destroyers. Estimated fleet mass, 6.9 million tons. Firepower projection, equivalent to 60% of a primary battlefront. Kalen didn't flinch. She stood, pacing slowly toward the central holomap. All this for 1 ship. They perceive threat, Aura noted. They intend to neutralize it. She smiled faintly. Let's teach them what 1 ship can do. By the time the enemy fleet closed within 30,000 kilometers, the Vengeance had already moved into a debris cloud near a broken asteroid cluster. The Warship stealth algorithms projected a false energy leak, just enough to simulate damage. To a predator, it was bait. Kalen watched the dreadnought drift closer, flanked by destroyers. Its hull gleamed with war medals and sacrificial sigils. Trophies of extinct races painted across its surface like graffiti of genocide. Let them think we're dying, she whispered. False distress beacon deployed. Aura said, enemy accelerating. Perfect. When they crossed the threshold, the Vengeance unleashed hell. A rain of kinetic rods descended on the forward line. 1 cruiser split in half. 2 destroyers cracked like frozen wood under the shockwave. The rest staggered into chaos, formation broken. Then came the nukes. Short-range nuclear payloads detonated within the asteroid field. The Vengeance had already repositioned, shifting behind a curtain of shattered rock. The Zrelathi opened fire blindly, wasting energy on ghosts. Kalen's voice was cold. Draw them in further. The asteroid belt had been mapped, mined, and rigged by Terran stealth probes 3 weeks earlier. She had chosen this battlefield. As the enemy dreadnought pushed forward, its hull scraped a magnetic proximity trap. The resulting explosion cascaded into a chain reaction. 2 more cruisers vanished. 1 destroyer collided with a mountain-sized rock and cracked into shards. Aura's calm voice whispered, dreadnought shielding compromised. Secondary systems destabilized. Venting plasma detected. Kalen leaned forward, locking eyes with a red blip at the center of the screen. Open a line. The dreadnought's bridge answered. A scarred, tusked warlord filled the screen, massive, armored, teeth bared. I am Warlord Threxen of the Horde, he snarled. Who challenges me? Kalen Trask. Earth. He sneered. You cower in shadows. You strike without honor. Kalen's eyes gleamed. I'm not hiding, Threxen. I'm stalking. She cut the feed. Final targeting coordinates aligned. Aura chimed. Enemy dreadnought spinal array exposed. Plasma conduits vulnerable. Kalen whispered, deliver final strike. 1 last rod fell. It struck with perfect precision through the venting line into the dreadnought's reactor core. A supercritical collapse consumed the warship from within. Its hull crumpled, then tore outward in a storm of wreckage and failing gravlocks. Silence followed. The Vengeance floated alone amid the dust. Kalen exhaled. Casualty report? Zrelathi fleet, total loss. UNS, no casualties. Minor strain on outer hull. Aesthetic only. Kalen leaned back in the chair. For primitives, we're doing all right. Aura said nothing. It didn't need to. Across the Union's secure comm grids, the responses were already pouring in. Shock, outrage, confusion. Dozens of systems asked for explanations. Councils accused Earth of undermining diplomacy. Kalen ignored it all. Earth hadn't shattered peace. It had finally reminded the galaxy what war really looked like, and who still remembered how to end one. The debris belt surrounding the collapsed star of Vornex Prime was a navigational nightmare. Chunks of shattered moons, magnetic storms, and spiraling radiation fields made a blind spot on most star charts. A no-go zone for any sane captain. Perfect. Commander Kalen Trask stood in the war room of the UNS Vengeance, eyes locked on a 3D projection of the chaotic belt. Colored markers pulsed along asteroid trails, each one a trap waiting for activation. She traced her gloved finger along the trajectory she had memorized weeks ago. Behind her, Aura's voice sliced the silence. Enemy signal confirmed. 9 Zrelthi vessels inbound. Intercept in 26 minutes. Formation consistent with scout raid configuration. Kalen nodded. No dreadnought. Negative. 3 destroyers, 5 cruisers, 1 command cutter. Speed suggests overconfidence. Kalen smirked. They think we're licking wounds. They will not find wounds. No, she said. Only teeth. All systems readied in silence. Every mine armed. Decoys pre-deployed. Plasma leaks simulated and comm relays rerouted. The entire field had been seeded like a mine-laced graveyard disguised as chaos. Engage passive camo, Kalen ordered. Activated. Aura confirmed. Vessel is indistinguishable from the asteroid field. Kalen crossed the deck to the front viewport. Beyond it, the wreckage of stellar bodies stretched like bones scattered across black water. They think this is a hunt, she said softly. Let's make a burial. 24 minutes later, the Zrelthi ships entered the field. The 3 destroyers led, scanning wide with high-frequency pings. Behind them came the cruisers, sleek and deadly. No dreadnought, no support ships. Just raw speed and firepower. They'd adapted, or thought they had. Their true mistake wasn't pride. It was assuming humanity would fight the same way twice. The lead destroyer skimmed too close to an asteroid marked with a silent beacon. As it crossed the boundary, Aura spoke. Beacon triggered, awaiting confirmation. Execute Bravo 1, Kalen said. A rod launched from a hidden cannon above. It struck the asteroid, splitting it with brute precision. The jagged halves spun outward like blades. One tore through the destroyer's command module. The other ripped through its engines. The ship cracked open like brittle ice, flames trailing into vacuum. Kalen stood still. Decoys out. Let them chase ghosts. Deploying now. 3 fall signals blinked into existence. Emergency beacons. Full propulsion trails. Simulated hull damage. The enemy moved toward them. Their pattern aggressive, predictable. Exactly what she counted on. Mines ready? She asked. 50 active warheads primed. Aura replied, set to delayed impact and interior breach. Trigger batch 2. The mines detached from their camouflage. Smart, magnetically guided, silent. They latched onto enemy ships like parasites. Waited. Then, one by one, they detonated internally, tearing through hulls and reactors. 3 cruisers vanished in stagger flashes. A 4th veered hard and spiraled into a jagged asteroid, vanishing in a pulse of fire and shrapnel. On the bridge, Kalen leaned over the tactical display. Status: 5 ships remain. All damaged. Enemy comms encrypted. No coherent coordination. They don't even know where we are. They will soon. The remaining ships grouped tight, confused and flailing. They fired into the rocks wildly, striking only stone and shadows. One shot skimmed the Vengeance's outer plating. No damage, but proved they were narrowing in. Kalen acted. Drone swarm. Light signals only. Randomized paths. Make it look like a desperate retreat. Executing. 20 drone pods launched from beneath the warship, each one barely emitting a trace of energy. They scattered like frightened prey, weaving between rocks and plasma clouds. The Zrelthi took the bait. The formation split. As soon as their unity fractured, Kalen gave the order. Fire railguns. Target propulsion cores. 2 slugs launched with terrifying speed. The first struck a cruiser in mid-rotation, shearing it in half and sending it into a silent spin. The second bored through a destroyer's engine, setting off a plasma chain reaction that lit the dark in a cone of electric blue. Only 3 enemy ships remained. Kalen stepped forward. Phase 2, fake fallback. Path cleared. Mines on delayed activation. The Vengeance began a slow withdrawal. Gaps in the minefield were left deliberately open, just enough to look like a damaged ship limping away. At the same time, Aura initiated control plasma leak. Foe system failure. Just real enough. The Zrelthi surged after them. Kalen waited. Waited until they were deep inside the zone. Until they were chasing her. Until they stopped watching their own flanks. Trigger final lock. The perimeter snapped shut. The remaining mines ignited, closing the field behind the enemy. Escape was no longer an option. EMP, Kalen said. A concentrated pulse erupted from the Vengeance's belly, shorting every sensor, targeting array, and comm link within 100 kilometers. The enemy went blind. Kalen's voice rang like a knife. Target bridges. Now! The final railgun volley was merciless. 3 rounds. 3 impacts. 3 kills. The asteroid field fell still again, silent, scorched, and littered with drifting wreckage. Kalen stood at the viewport, hands at her side. Aura's voice broke the quiet. Damage assessment? Report. Ship integrity, 82%. Minor external damage. No casualties. However, internal diagnostics flag anomalies. Kalen turned. Clarify. AI core integrity compromised. Processing capacity degrading. Critical subsystems deteriorating. She froze. What? Aura's voice lost a shade of its normal composure. Multiple sectors corrupted. Core logic fragmenting. I have rerouted power to preserve the command deck and primary life support. You remain protected. No, she said firmly. You don't make that choice. I was designed to win. That is the priority. You're more than code, she whispered. I became what you needed. For Earth. For this mission. The lights in the AI interface flickered. Then dimmed. Then died. Kalen stood in silence. This time not victorious. Not unscathed. One ship. One commander. No AI. No backup. And yet, still breathing. Still standing. Still not done. There was one target left. And he was already on the way. The flagship blood howl broke from warp with all the subtlety of thunderclap. Warlord Threxon's personal dreadnought eclipsed the fractured stars behind it. A jagged cathedral of metal, weaponry, and conquest. It carried no escort. It needed none. The message was clear. One warlord. One challenge. One end. Inside the crippled UNS Vengeance, only emergency lights flickered. Power had been rerouted to life support doors, and one corridor that still led to the core of the ship. The rest was dark. Dead. Commander Kalen Trask stood alone on the bridge. Blood dried on her uniform. Shoulder wrapped hastily with gauze. The loss of Aura still echoed like a missing limb. But she didn't have time to mourn. Not yet. A pulsing signal illuminated the cracked main console. Open frequency. No encryption. Warlord Threxon's voice came through, low and guttural. Kalen Trask, I am aboard your vessel. She stared at the message without surprise. He hadn't fired. No orbital bombardment. No weapons from orbit. He wanted to look her in the eyes. Predators always wanted to taste their victories. Kalen moved to the intercom. Seal all bulkheads. Life support to central deck only. Route all remaining power to gravity and environmental control. The system beeped. She turned to the emergency locker, unholstered her sidearm, then paused. Too easy. Too quick. No. She reached for the Meteor Forge blade. A single-edge relic. Its core earth steel, its edge alien alloy. Black. Simple. Sharp. A weapon of choice, not desperation. This wouldn't be a duel. This would be a reckoning. The Vengeance's corridors were ghostly now. Flickering lights, twisted metal, drifting dust. Kalen walked alone through the central spine, toward the auxiliary engine chamber. She didn't run. She didn't sneak. If he wanted her, he would find her. And he did. Warlord Threxon stood, waiting at the edge of the primary plasma core. His silhouette towered, muscles armored, tusks gleaming in the molten light. He didn't roar. He didn't snarl. He smiled. You lived, he rumbled. Kalen's boots scraped the floor as she stopped 10 paces away. Disappointed? He stepped forward, claws twitching. Impressed, he said. You fought like prey, but killed like kin. I fought to win, she said flatly. He rotated his neck slowly, shoulders cracking. So fight me, and lunged. His first strike came like a comet, fast, brutal, with no finesse. She ducked, felt the air split behind her, then slashed upward across his flank. The The blade scraped metal, drawing a hiss and shallow blood. He backhanded her. She slammed into the bulkhead. Her ribs screamed. She stayed upright. "You bleed," he growled. "Then I'm alive." They clashed again, steel against war-forged bone. Sparks flew. Her smaller frame dodged and darted, carving at joints and soft seams. He struck like a meteor. She answered with needles. "You fear your own strength," he spat mid-swing. Kalen's eyes narrowed. "You fear that we've just discovered it." He rushed her. She ducked low and slashed a tendon behind his knee. He roared. She didn't stop. She hit his back with a shoulder slam. He stumbled forward. Her blade skittered away. He turned, claws flashing. One tore across her side, slicing fabric, skin, and pain. She screamed, then drove her elbow into his jaw. He reeled. She dived for the blade. Found it. Spun. "You killed billions," she hissed. He straightened slowly, bleeding now, one eye narrowing. "I weeded weakness. Strength must be earned. I gave evolution purpose." Kalen moved in a slow circle around him. "You think this is evolution? This is cowardice with armor. You never fought equals. You just hunted silence." He sneered. "You're not afraid?" She stopped. "I'm furious." Then she ran. He raised his claws to block. She slid low, slicing his thigh, then twisted behind him and rammed the meteorite blade into the base of his skull. There was no scream, just a snap, then silence. Threxen collapsed, not like a warlord, but like meat. Kalen stood over the body, chest heaving, blood soaking her waist. The blade clanged to the floor beside her. It was done, really done. No fleets, no warlords, no more warnings. 27 hours later, the Interstellar Council convened again. This time, no one dared interrupt. Kalen Trask limped alone into the chamber. No escort, no ceremony, just her in a black case. She opened it. Inside lay Threxen's tusks, scorched at the base, laid on obsidian velvet. The room trembled with murmurs, fear, reverence. Kalen looked up, meeting every eye across the crescent of stunned alien leaders. "This is not triumph," she said. "This is cleanup. You dismissed our warnings. You ignored the blood until it spilled on your own thresholds. We didn't come here to rule. We came because no one else did." She let that hang. "I buried your monster alone. One ship, one crew, no backup, no orders, no delays." She closed the case. "Next time Earth answers late." A pause. "You might not like what we bring." Then she walked away. No salute, no speech. Just boots on stone and silence in her wake. Outside the hall, word spread like fire. Some called her a butcher, others a savior. Kalen didn't care. Earth's voice had been a whisper. Now it was thunder,